Keys, how you doing? Damien Keys here. Welcome to the hashtag Ask Damo Show number 9. We are motoring through these. With me as always, Morgan M. James.
God.
Go and add him on Instagram. Go and check out his brand new cover on Instagram. Look at me, I'm promoting already. In it for the value. Morgan M. James. Morgan, you got some questions?
I do indeed have some questions, David. Are you ready for questions?
Let me grab my mug of tea. Oh, it's the Empress mug that got sent to me last week. Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much.
And what's the address if people want to send stuff in?
It is 30 Brunswick Street East, Hove, BN3 1AU. It's going to be in the comments below. Don't forget, we're live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram. If you've got any questions, then join in. What do you got for me?
First question.
All right.
So, Damien, inspired by your "What would you do with £1,000" video, what would you do if you only had 8 hours a week to work on your music? And that is from James G. Baster.
Okay, so if I only had 8 hours a week, that depends. That's a really good question, that one. So firstly, I'd have to look at my targets of what I was trying to achieve within that 8 hours, because I think you've got to be realistic. You know, if you look at what we're trying to achieve here, it's very different to what it used to be. We used to be able to, as artists, we used to be able to take care of the art, and then the money men would pour the money into taking care of everything else. I'd love if that was the case, and it is the case at a certain level, but for us, we don't get that option, so we have to actually be doing it. So let me give you an example of me making content. Morgan's constantly bugging about making videos, and I'm in meetings and doing my best. But to prepare a video probably takes me 40 minutes to an hour to prepare what I'm going to say in a video. Then shooting the video, because I'm an idiot, might take me anything up to half an hour, 40 minutes. In this case, maybe half an hour. I need to do that 3, 4, 5 times a week sometimes, so it's a lot. Then I'm getting up to 100 comments a day on all of the different platforms, and I'm missing a lot of your questions because I'm just out of time trying to figure that shit out. You can see how that is going to add up. 8 hours a week is not a lot. So I would have to curb what I'm trying to achieve with my targets. And what is it that I'm trying to achieve? Is it that I just want to get music out there, in which case I would prioritize the music? Have I got any money? If you've got less time, you can put more money into it, because if you've got no money and no time, it's really, really difficult. You know, I know everybody wants a magic answer, but you know, we're in a time now where organic reach is very different to what it used to be. It's dying a death at the moment. You're putting content out to a tiny amount of your audience. If you want to get past that, you have to put money into it, whether you like it or not. If you don't have the time to make amazing content, or you don't have the money, or more importantly, both, what do you do? There's the question. I guess you just do your best. You just make the best content you can and hope for the best. You know, but at the same point, if you've got 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and you've only got 8 hours, I would think this is a priority management issue and not a time management issue. I think you need to go through your life and you need to say, right, what can I cut out of my life? Whether it's going out, whether it's friends, whether it's college, don't sound harsh, whether it's a job, whether you've got 3 jobs and you need to go and get 1, whether you need to live on the breadline and sacrifice that in order to be able to put more time, effort into it. Or whether you need to just cut down on your outgoings so that you can take a big chunk of money and at least promote the content that you're already promoting to actually get out there, but something has to give. So my answer to that would be, if I only had 8 hours a week, I would look at what I'm trying to achieve. If what I'm trying to achieve isn't going to fit into 8 hours, I'll make sacrifices. So for me, I would go and live on someone's sofa, or I'd move back home, or I'd do something where I could figure out as much time as I've got to put into this as possible. It's as simple. Time plus money equals momentum. That's what it is. So right now, you can do it with one or the other, but you still need to have that content going out there. You can make 1 video a week and then push it out with money, or 1 video a month and push it out with money, or you can be making 5 videos a day. Your thing is to find that time or to find that money. It's as simple as that. Very difficult question, very difficult answer, that one.
God. Right, question number 2.
Okay.
Are you ready, Damien?
Yes.
This is from Odd Soul Sound.
Lovely.
And he says, I'm dropping 52 singles in 52 weeks. I have my strategy, but what would you do to promote that?
Well, I think if you look at this as an example, this is where you might not have money, but you have got time, because if you're promoting 52 singles, that's hard. So now we're dealing with quality versus quantity. In order to put 52 singles out, you know, I'm not under any delusion, that is a very, very big ask and very difficult to do. And some people will say it's too much. I love the idea myself, but I understand you're gonna get less quality than you would if you were putting out one single a month, or one single. Some bands are putting out one single every 3 months. So it's a very difficult ask. But what you will find in doing this is that momentum will give it a push. So effectively, you will need less money to push it, because you are getting the excitement factor of a new one every week. So what I would do is I would make it very, very clear. This is where it comes to me for the journey of when someone hits your Facebook or your YouTube or your Instagram, what is it that they can expect, and what is it that you want them to do? This is very, very important when it comes to Facebook especially. As soon as they hit your Facebook, what is it that you want them to do? How are you going to hold a hand through that journey of your Facebook? And so if you are making a single a week, then that needs to be a story in itself, and it should be on your Facebook. Every week, new song every single week. So someone who hears the song goes, well, that's really, really good. And then they go back and go, wow, new one every week. I will like this. I will subscribe to this. One thing I would definitely do is I'd figure a way of getting that song out on YouTube, because I feel like, you know, YouTube has that evergreen content where you can see this growth. The first year is really hard, but as you get to that 1,000 subscriber mark, all of a sudden things start to get easier. You know, my YouTube, all of a sudden I'm getting nearly 100 subscribers a day. Where the hell did that come from? It was literally 3 or 4 months ago, I'd be lucky to get 100 subscribers in a month. So it really starts to escalate over a period of time when you're making consistent quality content. So if you're making a song or a single a week, I wouldn't put, you know, you're going away from releases and you're going more into looking after the audience. I think that's a really good strategy, but what I would do is I'd make it a game, I'd make it a story, I'd make it the journey. As soon as someone gets to your social media, they know what they're going to get. New video every Monday, or new song every Monday. And if you keep doing that over a period of a year, I bet you'll see some really good momentum and some good numbers.
God, 52 singles.
Brilliant, that is. I think that's brilliant. And I know a lot of people will be watching this going, it's ridiculous, but you know, there was a time when Casey Neistat came along and just went, I'm going to do a proper full-on level film quality vlog every day. And everyone went, yeah, good luck. You'll last a week and then you'll burn out. He managed the whole year of it. He revamped what was vlogging at the time of that level, because he just went, no, I'm raising the standards. Everyone's used to putting out 12 songs a year and I'm going to do 52. I think that is bold. But what you're doing there is you're facing the audience instead of egotistically thinking, I want to do what I want to do. You're saying, I'm going to look after the audience. I'm going to give them something new every week. I'm giving them a present. If you can write those sorts of songs, it doesn't matter out of those 52 songs whether you've got one great hit, 5 really good songs, 15 decent songs, and a couple of pigs. It doesn't make that much difference, because people are coming with you on a journey and they're realizing that they're getting something every week.
52 singles also sums up my Tinder matches pretty well.
But the boys!
Right, so next question. Hey Damien, what are ways to promote a show in a city I've never been to before? And that's from @tom.nip.
Yeah, so good name. You want to promote a show in a city that you've never been to. This is work. You've got to go to town in this city. You have to go and find the people and the demographic in that city, and you have to start building relationships. There's a couple of things you can do. Targeting and Facebook advertising or Instagram advertising is absolutely key. Don't know if you guys have started noticing this, but bands have started popping up on Facebook and Instagram, and they're really targeting their audience, not only with the demographic, but also they're targeting the city and actually saying the city that they're going to be touring in. It's very smart. I saw this the other day on Bowling for Soup. If you remember Bowling for Soup, that guy got big. But they were doing a gig just down the road, and he actually made a specific video which said, it was Burgess Hill, or where was it? It was Tunbridge Wells. And it was like, hey, Tunbridge Wells, we're coming to you guys on blah, blah, blah for a gig. And I was like, wow, that's targeted literally Tunbridge Wells and surrounding area. If you've got 15 gigs and you do that times by 15 different videos and you push them out to that demographic, so you're running 15 adverts, Brilliant, absolutely, really smart, because people in Tunbridge Wells are going, I'm in Tunbridge Wells, oh, that's the guy from Bowling for Soup, I used to like them, put two and two together, much more likely to actually go to that gig rather than just seeing an advert just saying Bowling for Soup on tour. So I think, and I've used them as an example, but I'm seeing that a lot. I'm seeing that's where labels and that's where live agents and promoters are really starting to dig into not just the demographic, but grabbing hold of the attention by saying something that makes you pay attention. So for example, if you're a guitarist and you just say, are you a guitarist? People go, oh, I am a guitarist. So it's how you're structuring your adverts. So for me, I think that's one way of doing it. But also, I'd start reaching out. There's no reason. I mean, there's great search engine. You can search on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can start searching hashtags. You can start finding people in an area. You can DM them. You can message them. You can tag them in. And you can just say, saw this, thought of you, thought you might like it. You can start conversations. You know, what I would say is it's not brain surgery, but it's time consuming and it's hard work. So if I've got time, if I can say about a new video series that we're looking to launch, where as well as this show, once a week, I'd like to do a challenge. And that challenge could be anything, something that we think will make a difference to you guys, that will help with learning about social media and what you can do. The first one I'd like to do is trading for attention. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to say I'm not going to put any money into it. I'm going to pick something that I'm going to promote. It might be the book or it might be a video, just the same as for you. It might be a single or it might be an album. And I'm going to have 4 hours. And my 4 hours, I'm going to shut off everything. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be messaging people and I'm going to trade whatever I've got other than monetary value, whatever I've got for shares. So either giving them a picture to share on Instagram or giving them a picture or a video to share on Facebook, etc. And I'm going to say to people, if you do this one-to-one in DMs, not online, if you do me a favor, if you share this on your Instagram and you put this comment underneath it, I'll send you a book. Or I'll do you a 15-minute Skype, or I'll go through your Facebook and I'll tell you 3 things that I would do to improve your Facebook. I'm thinking of anything that I can use as leverage to get that micro influence out there. All of these things aren't complicated. You can do these. Everyone watching can do these things. It's not about even thinking about them. It's about how much time have you got, and more importantly, will you actually do those things, or will you sit there and go, yeah, I probably should do them, and then they don't happen, and that's what I'm seeing a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Thanks.
Yeah. Right. And the final question, Damien.
Yeah.
When do you judge there is enough demand to stop releasing singles and release an album instead? And that is from tidalwave_music.
Yeah, I'm pretty judgy. I'm judgy. So when do I judge that you go from the singles to the EP or from the singles to the album? So for anyone who hasn't seen much of my content, I'm not a fan of EPs. I'm okay with releasing multiple bits of music at the right time, and I don't think bands do that. I think they make EPs for their own ego, to put stuff out because they think that's the tradition of what's happened and they want to have a piece of artwork that they do, or an album. The problem is they're not looking after the audience, and a long period of time will go past where they're making the music in order to give it, and then the exhausting of the creative, which I talk about a lot, means 2 weeks later they go, nothing's really happened, what do I do next? So I'm a fan of jabs. So jab, small. Here's a song, here's a song, here's a song, here's a song. Like Odd Soul Sounds doing 52 tracks over a year. Just here's for the audience, here's for the audience. And then saying to people, even saying to people, not my best song, but I said I'm going to release a track a week, and here it is. What you're doing is you're valuing the audience rather than your own ego. Now, after a while, as the audience come with you on your journey, then you can start to do smart things. You can say, look, I've already put out 15 songs or 25 songs or 52 songs. Now what I'm going to do is some playlists. So I'm going to put a playlist together on YouTube, on Spotify, on Deezer, where I'm going to say the best songs of 2018 that I released, because I released 50, and these are my favorite 8. That in itself is an album. You can start to package things together if you want a physical form to say, my favorite, or the best of 2018, the best of damokeyes 2018. I'm going to put that on CD and I'm going to sell that as a CD. I don't think you physically need to actually jump from singles and then go, right, now we have to go back into doing an album. I think you can just keep this momentum going. If you want to then jump from doing singles to an album, and you're doing lots and lots of singles, and then you jump to an EP, you have to find something that's going to bridge that gap. You will have enough momentum. So if I was going to judge, at what point, I couldn't put a number on it. I think I'd trial it. I think what I would do is I'd put enough singles out, then I would say, look, if I put an album out, who wants it? You know, one thing I would say, this is a bit of advice that I would say, is people don't talk to their audience enough. I find that really weird. People don't ask questions. People don't say, if I did an album, who'd buy it? And I know some people will say yes and they won't, and some people won't say yes but they will. But on the whole, that doesn't happen much. Look, we're putting out singles, we like that. If the audience says, look, we're thinking about doing a gig in Manchester. Where's our Manchester audience? We'll put 10 quid into our audience in Manchester, but if we do a gig in Manchester, who's up for coming down? Because if we've got enough people, we'll come and do it. It doesn't have to be this cloak and daggers kind of like, it's finished, you need to do what we're saying you do. You can actually involve the audience now. The audience is there to help. If you think about your favourite bands, you know, I use Dave Grohl as an example, but the Foo Fighters pop up and they go, if we booked out a gig in Brighton, who'd come to that? And all of a sudden, 30,000 people are like, hell yeah. They go, all right, well, why not? We're not going to judge them for it. We're not going to go, oh God, they had to ask us whether they should do it or not. Doesn't matter. We're just appreciative of the communication. So you can communicate with your audience a lot better than a lot of you already are because you're doing this push media thing. So I'd ask. But what I would do is I'd lead up to it. I'd do lots of singles. Then I'd take some of those and wrap it up into some kind of album for physical form that you can then have that to sell at gigs. Then from there, you can judge it on how many you've sold, how well it worked, and how much time you feel that you can take off from your audience getting these singles in order to put an album together and whether it's worth it. If it is. You know, I read an article the other day and someone just said, you can't do album tracks anymore. And I know people are watching going, oh, that's ridiculous. But you haven't got that momentum unless you're a big band. We haven't got time for it. Everybody wants singles. Everybody wants the instant hit straight away. It won't be long before people are just going, fuck a verse, chorus, there it is out. And all the music connoisseurs are going to be up in arms. But people just want things faster and faster and faster and faster. So that's why we're looking at consumption as opposed to what we want to do. It's what's being consumed.
And that is the show.
That's
then.
it.
That is all the questions.
Brilliant.
For this week.
We've got a quick one here.
Yep.
Cornelius says, do you have any ideas on how I can motivate musicians in my local scene to contribute towards the greater good? I go to gigs, offer to help out with shooting videos, social media, promotions, etc., but it's very rarely reciprocated. I'm starting to feel like I should just be selfish and focus on myself, and perhaps I could approach this in a different way. It's a really good question, that. You want to get musicians in the area to get on board and everyone to be in this together. It's just very difficult to do that. Everyone is selfish. Everyone's looking after their own interest. I think if you're going to, I don't want to sound Gary Vaynerchuk, but if you're going to give and expect something in return, I think you're going to struggle. Whereas if you're saying, this is what I'm doing, oh, I'd love to help you because I like that. And then if something comes back great, then chances are it might not. As soon as you have this expectancy level of, I will do this for you if you do that for me, then you have to go in with a non-emotional thing of just literally being prepared to get turned down 100 times. You know, when I do this idea of trading for attention and I'm going to just talk to people, I'm going to say, if you share this, I will give you this. I'm prepared for 100 people to go, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to get emotional about it. I'm not going to get angry. I'm just going to find a deal that I can do with someone. And if they say no, I'll say, okay, yeah, no problem at all. And I'm prepared to be turned down. So I would say that's the big thing, is if you're doing something and you like someone or you want to get involved in the local community, the local scene, do it. If you're expecting something in return, I think you'll probably be disappointed. If you're going to do the deal, then make it a non-emotional deal. This for this. Are you interested? No problem at all. Move on to the next one. Good. So like, share, subscribe. More importantly though, on all that usual smash the subscribe button, do me a favor, just come and be a part of this community. Come and leave comments. Comments is the lifeblood. So leave some comments below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what problems you've got. When we do these shows, I need these questions. I need to know what you're struggling with so I can help you. More importantly, be a part of the community. Hit me up in the DMs if you need anything. I'll do my best to get back to everyone, and have a good week. See you guys soon. Cheers.